Okay guys, so if you guys remember a few months ago I made a Ghost of Tabor video. Well, I am making a part 2 to that video. This is going to be community opinions. There will be a part 3. The part 3 is going to be the opinions of me and my good buddy who I play the game with. We play the game together somewhat regularly. So we both are entitled to our own opinions about it, and seeing as both of us are relatively skilled, and for those of you who want to sit here and try to say that we're not, or at least that I'm not, just keep in mind, if I'm running an MP9 kit and we're on missile silo, I will whoop your ass and I will whoop your squad's asses. Just remember that. So, we're going through Reddit of all places, so y'all better subscribe for this, and y'all better grab a drink and a snack, whatever you want. So, we're gonna start this off with a bit of a rant here. Scott. For those of you who don't know, Scott is the CEO of Combat Waffle Studios. Scott, I have a genuine question for you, okay? Why do you think that you are entitled to sue Caveman Studios over the fact that they had skill issue on a weapon bundle they were selling? You have not even trademarked the term skill issue, 1, so you have no legal grounds to sue. 2, you filed for a trademark for the term skill issue, but that term is so widespread and common use that it's going to get denied immediately. Stop acting like a man-child and understand that you can't always have your way. Maybe, just maybe, if you weren't so focused on trying to pump out 2 other half-baked products when your first product is not even remotely finished, you'd have funding to to actually put towards the other 2 projects. But you're putting 3, you've got, what, 3 projects that your company is working on. You have Ghosts of Tabor, you have Silent North, and you have Grimm. And you're also going out and throwing out frivolous lawsuits and threatening to ruin the lives of cheat developers and small YouTubers. Now again, I don't like cheat developers particularly. I don't like what they do. But I don't think that they should have their lives ruined over it. Sure, you send them a cease and desist and you take them to court for a small sum of money or whatever. But you don't sit there and threaten to ruin their life when they have mouths to feed. Especially in this day and age with the economy we currently live in. Who the hell do you think you are to sit here and tell smaller content creators, and again, cheat developers, which I'm not saying they're in the right, but I'm saying that Scott is in the wrong. So I had to get that out there real quick. Now then, I am on Reddit of all places, so I deserve a like and a subscribe for this. So we're just gonna take a stroll down the rant section of the subreddit to see what people are saying. Alright? Was hunting for key card for 2 hours straight, didn't find. Oh yeah, saw this one. His headset died. Sucks. Bad luck. Here we go. Game is losing its fun. This one seems like it'd have something. I don't know if it's just me, but this game is losing my interest. When I first got it, I would play it for hours, but now I can only play like 2 to 4 raids. Everyone on this wipe is somehow getting tier 5 loot while I don't even have a single gun. I bought the game for my friends with the money I earned and they both dropped it in less than an hour. I usually play it by myself, so I wonder if that could be the reason. Also, the traders piss me off so much. Most of the good weapons and stuff are behind trader level 3 and I can barely reach halfway to level 2. Also, my weapons feel like they are shooting marshmallows. So, there's a lot to unpack here. Let's talk about weapon damage. Let's talk about the traders. Those 2 in particular. The issue with traders and leveling them up, and what level you unlock things, makes no sense. This is a VR game where you have to stand up and physically move your body, okay? This is not like Escape from Tarkov where you're sitting in a chair playing the game. No, you have to physically move your body. And some of us have hobbies. Some of us exercise and go outside. Some of us go to the gym. We don't want to sit here and keep moving around for another 2.5 hours, right? Depending on your battery life. But on average, another 2.5 hours just to get a measly 5, maybe 8,000 trader XP if we're lucky. And that's the average person who's not as good. Like I said earlier, I can absolutely shred if I have an MP9 and a decent chest rig. I can absolutely demolish Missile Silo, and I was doing it earlier. I actually still today have not died a single time, and I logged into Tabor 2 separate times today, and I have yet to die. That is how good I am doing today. So, it's weird. I don't get why the Moss and the L85 in particular are locked behind Spectre level 3. I also don't get why the MP5 is locked behind Spectre level 3 at the same time, because the MP5, the only attachment you can put on it is a suppressor. You can't even put an optic on it, and most people who play the game will tell you the iron sights are very poorly aligned in this game. Very poorly aligned. Combine that with how janky a lot of the weapons are to use in this game, and you have the perfect formula for a game that breaks realism with misaligned iron sights, and a game that is infuriating because you can't get any of the decent weapons to use. Because while yes, the iron sights are misaligned on the MP5, it's still a sprayer, it's still a bullet hose. You can still get kills with it if you're good. And you know, I feel bad for this guy, because he bought the game assuming him and his buddies were going to get to play it and have fun, and the people who no-life this game, cough cough, the school children who have nothing else to do, which I can't fault them for. But what we can fault the developers for making the game as grindy as it is. We can fault them for that 110%. The turn-in missions have been going for almost a year now, and still, we have no word. And then a few months back, if you guys remember, I asked about it. I asked a developer directly about it, and he decided to call me out in the general chat of the Discord server, which is very unprofessional. And I can only assume that he had I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm not even going to attempt it. I'm going to assume that he had to face the consequences of his actions for the way he was treating people. I'm just going to go out there and assume that. Now then, as for the point of it feels like his weapons are shooting marshmallows, it's because the hit reg in this game is awful. It's terrible, dude. It is atrocious. There are times where you'll shoot somebody in the leg and it registers as a headshot. There are times where you shoot them in the head and it registers as you shooting them in like the left hand. So I absolutely get where he's coming from with this. And when he says the game is losing its fun, he's not necessarily wrong. He's really not wrong. Let's see here. Trader XP progression. Here's one specifically on that, okay? Trader XP progression needs to be fixed. As a casual player who plays almost every single day and has been trying to level up Minty since the start of the wipe, I still have 20,000 XP to get him to level 3. It should not be a multiple weeks grind in Karuna level. It should not be I'm gonna fix the English for him. It should not take multiple weeks to grind up the XP in the Karunas to level up traders. And it also shouldn't make me repeat the same tasks over and over again. In Tarkov, you can make significant progress in a single day if you try hard enough, even if you are not the best at PvP. In this game, you can barely make a dent if you try. And the quests with a decent amount of XP are very hard if you are not an expert at the game. Please fix this, it is genuinely driving me away from the game. He is absolutely right. This is the reason I barely played last wipe. So we're not even 3 weeks into the current wipe that we're in, and I am level 22, almost 23. I didn't even hit level 23 last wipe. I played so little last wipe that I didn't even hit level 23, and I think the highest level I've hit in Tabor is 40, somewhere around 40. I know I had the maintenance room at one point in time, so I was 38 or above. But again, this is what drives casual players away from Tabor. And before anyone starts trying to say that Tabor and Tarkov are two completely separate games, I just want you guys to remember, Scott himself said that Tabor took a lot of inspiration from Escape from Tarkov. They are trying to bring Escape from Tarkov into VR. I want you guys to remember that in particular because that is a big point of this video. Let's see here. Two people accusing someone else of hacking. Prison Island. Okay, this guy's talking about AP ammo and armor. Okay. I actually agree. I'm one of those people who will run juiced up kits. But I also agree that armor-piercing ammo is ridiculous. Okay, I think it's ridiculously strong in Tabor. Why should I pay 60,000 Karunas for this heavy-ass tier 6 rig that blocks a lot of calibers, when some scrub can just like sit halfway across the map with a Mosin with armor-piercing ammo and 2-hit me through it? What's the point in me spending 60,000 Karunas on something that slows me down, but gives protection, if the protection is negated just simply by having either Shiro or Jiri at level 3? Again, people complain about, oh, all I see in my raids are nakeds. People run nakeds because there's no point in running kits with how buggy the game is. I'm sorry, but there's no point in spending 100,000 Karunas on a kit just to die to something that's not really even your fault. This guy, okay, talking about the Phoenix. I get that they adjusted the Phoenix, they hit a little harder now, but the inconsistency is really annoying. Sometimes you'll get the first day Phoenix that can't hit the broadside of a barn and you can run from across the room and snap their neck. Other times you get Marshawn Lynch that stiff arms you so hard you get that stiff arms you so hard you even get close enough to put one before you. These people can't English. I'm sorry. This is confusing me. Before you even get close enough to put one hand on their head, let alone two to snap their necks. And sometimes you get the Hungarian dude from the Olympics who turns your limbs into Swiss cheese with a Makarov from 3 football fields away. Which, again, I think that is stupid. I think past a certain distance, scavs should not be able to shoot at you with certain weapons. Personally, I think they should not be able to shoot at you with certain weapons past a certain distance. His second paragraph here. I was the last one remaining on Silo. I looted everything I possibly could. I started taking hunger damage. No big deal, I've got 75% health. I jumped down to extract at sewers. John Wick pops out from Kurtek's tunnel. It wasn't the boss or the goon. In 3 pieces me with the Makarov, hitting my limbs. I guess putting me down for 4 health. I died trying to extract. I lost a lot of shit and it's obnoxious. Yeah, that happens. Scavs are OP, and the devs constantly say skill issue if you call that out, and then they'll turn around and say, oh no, we swear we didn't change him, Yes, they did. Yes, they did. This one's talking about desync, which I talked about that in the last one, but I'll sum it up here. Because Combat Waffle Studios is terrible at allocating their funds, and they're terrible at managing what they do, we have terrible server providers, so most of us are lucky to play on less than 80 ping on native servers. It's even worse if you live on NA West or NA Central. That's even worse. If you live on NA East, sometimes you get to play below 90, right? But you're usually at 90 to 100, somewhere in that ballpark. And again, they say it's a skill issue and that it's your Wi-Fi. It's not. It's because they picked a bad server provider. They're cheaping out on everything. They cheaped out. They got rid of easy anti-cheat and gave us bad to lie. And if you guys play Rainbow Six Siege, you know that Battle Eye has a reputation for doing absolutely nothing. The hype menu randomly popping up, that is still a bug from over a year ago. Grenades. They talk about how realistic their game is and how realistic they want it. The lethal radius for a fragmentation grenade is 5 meters. The incapacitation range is 15, I believe. And then past that, yes, you can still die to the shrapnel, right? You can still die from the shrapnel, but it's not a guaranteed you're going to die. Armor does not protect you from grenades. And the lethal radius for grenades in Tabor is something like 20 meters, I want to say. Somewhere close to 20 meters. So, for a bunch of ex-military dudes, they seem to have no idea what their equipment actually does, and they have no clue what they want to implement into their game does. For a bunch of ex-military guys, they really don't know how the equipment they implement into their game works. This guy just lost a whole kit because the servers were hitching. Just lost one of my best kits I grinded hours to get, and all because I threw a grenade in the server, started lagging out, and that grenade I threw just landed at my feet and I couldn't move and it killed me. I'm actually on the verge of quitting because this is about the 10th time this has happened to me, and it's actually becoming unplayable because of it. Yeah, that's happened to me before too. There was one time I was playing on island with my buddy. I threw a frag, it landed at my feet, not where I threw it, it just landed at my feet, and I survived on like 4 pips of health. Stuck in a drawer. That glitch where you can, if you're looting drawers, you can get stuck inside of them. That glitch is still a thing. You have to do a workaround. That's still a thing from over a year ago. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. I can't with these people anymore. So I'm grinding scav kills for Spectre and Underground because I want T3, and I kill 4 players and wait for the rest of the lobby to clear so I can farm the bunker and the 2 subway platforms that connect to it. Exfil's open. I wait a bit longer for people to find their exfil and start making my way through the route. Get into bunker and find GPU. Literally the very first GPU I've even laid eyes upon in this wipe. Hide it to grab it on my way out. Figure everyone's left because who would camp for this long? About 15 minutes left on timer. Go to the platform across the route from where I started. Get killed by the rattiest camper I've seen in my life, and only because when I try. Let me click on the whole post here so I can actually read it. Get killed by the rattiest camper I've seen in my life, and only because when I tried to back up, the game wouldn't let me move because I got snagged on something. Literally nothing I could do. So I have to genuinely ask, do any of you play like this, and if so, why? Like, genuinely why? What's the point? It's boring and nobody likes people who do that. Are you just trying to be an ass? Like, WTF. I specifically try to stay out of the way because I don't even want loot or kills, just scav kills for a damn mission, and I can't even do that. To be honest, I'm mostly just writing this to vent, but like, what's your guys' opinions on this? Well, this is more of a fact than an opinion. People who rat like that, okay, people who rat like that in Tabor, they do it for one reason and one reason only. They are so ass at the game that the only way they can kill somebody is by literally camping. That is the only way they can do it, is by sitting in like the deepest, darkest corner and just waiting for that one person to walk through so they can score all the loot. That is the only way some people can play. And it's because they suck at the game. So moving on from that, spawning inside of walls, inside of crates, not being able to move outside your spawn, that's still a thing from over a year ago. Spawning under the map and dying immediately is still a thing from over a year ago. Failing missions even though you already have full progress on them, that is still a thing from over a year ago. It makes me think, are they actually fixing bugs in this game? Why are we having all these hot fixes if they're not fixing major bugs that make the game damn near unplayable? Here we have one. Playing this game on Quest 2 is a nightmare. Just for context, been playing this game nearly since it came out. Just crashed out of a raid where I had easily 80k in gear and loot that I got in a 0 to hero run. Tier 5 armor, M4 drum with AP, NVGs, AK Alpha, and far more. gone because Quest Link is the worst XR software ever developed, and the Quest 2 might be the worst VR hardware ever developed, and I own a CV1 which was somehow more functional than the Quest 2. Tabor also gets a share of the blame because of the sheer amount of times I crash out of it. Getting the Quest 2 properly set up and decked out to play VR properly and comfortably is a monumental task on its own, but getting through more than a few races without the game completely crashing Quest Link is basically impossible. I wouldn't be surprised if I've crashed out of over 100 raids at this point. I'm so beyond sick of losing hundreds of thousands of Karuna's worth of gear and loot because Meta can't make a reliably functional piece of hardware, and because this game has some of the worst performance and reconnect features ever. I crashed out of Tabor more than any other VR game by far, and I've played several hundreds of hours of VR at this point, and a lot of which has been spent in Tabor. Not sure how much more I can tolerate before I quit playing and wait for a different VR extraction shooter. It's a complete waste of time. Hours and hours of my time and effort just down the drain. You'd think such an expensive hobby would be held to a higher standard of quality. Well, I hate to break it to you, buddy. This is Combat Waffle Studios. It's not really a Quest issue. Don't get me wrong. The Quest has its issues and has its limits, right? I play on a Quest 2. So I of all people know the Quest has issues. However, this is purely a Combat Waffle Studios game. Every other game I play runs fine almost 100% of the time. Into the Radius, Onward, Pavlov, Contractors, Breachers, Blade and Sorcery, Bone Lab, Population 1. All of these games run perfectly fine. Tabor is the only one that is so poorly optimized that it's a miracle it works. So, done with ping and scavs. I trade so much more often than not. I wiped a nicely kitted duo just for the guy to kill me as he dies. Amazing. I can't tell you how many times it takes 25 bullets to kill a naked. I was 2 feet away and watched as his entire chest was a fountain of blood. Then he dies on the last bullet, which I think was a headshot. Oh, and I'm sure we all know the dumbass ghost gun glitch where a gun shoots in the air after the enemy has already died and kills you. That has happened to me numerous times. Actually, interjection here, that has happened to me numerous times, and it's something that took them months to fix. Or, just randomly crashing for no reason. I've been on an empty server and just boom, crash, and it says that I died to literally nothing. No players, no scavs, nothing, just up and died. It's the stupid doors. I only have this dumbass shit happen on island. I mean, CWS is just allergic to releasing anything in working condition. Which is true. They are. And then we get to his latter half here, which is about scavs. Then, scavs have an IV drip of fentanyl in their back pocket. I will put 3 to 4 headshots into an MF, and he lives and does half of my health. I've literally broken a scav's neck, and he starts doing tricks on it. And of course does half my health before dropping dead. Speaking of half my health bar, can someone tell me how a little ass Makarov does 45 to 50 damage per shot, but I use a little piece of shit and I can't do 20. My friend was kitted and died instantly to 2 scavs with Makarovs because they 3-tapped him. Then scavs have started doing the annoying ass thing where they sit around corners and jump out when you run up to them, instantly doing 30 plus damage before you can do anything. It's so annoying because the desync makes it to where your bullets don't do shit but theirs do. I live in America with great ping on on almost every game, of course, but Tabor. Then Scott has the nerve to say we didn't buff scavs, it's in your head. Yeah, totally, bro. And you know what? He's absolutely right. I said this in the last video, and I'm gonna say this again. It's not that I don't like Tabor. I do. I love Tabor. It's my favorite VR shooter. But at the same time, if Combat Waffle Studios is not going to fix the game, I'm not going to stick around for much longer. It took them 8 months to give us the Eastwood pack. Actually, probably longer than that. The last DLC we got, the last paid-for DLC we got before the Eastwood pack, came out before the Independence Edition upgrade. So I paid an additional like $30, I think it was $30, right? I paid an additional $30 on top of, so I'm going to put this into perspective for you guys, okay? 20 on the game for me, 20 for my friend. $5 on both of the DLCs that came out, so that's another 10. So I'm at $50 deep, right? I am $50 deep in this right now. I upgrade to Nuclear Knight, so now I am $65 deep into Tabor. Then the Independence upgrade comes out. Great, all DLCs current and future for free. Sounds like a steal. I'll never have to pay for more DLC. So I spend the 30 bucks. I am now almost $100 into Tabor. Okay, and this is without tax. I am now at 95 bucks into Tabor. And you mean to tell me for that 30 bucks I spent for future DLC, right? I have only gotten one in the span of 6 months. In the 6 months since that was released, I have gotten access to one paid DLC. Are you kidding me? Is this a joke? You guys are bad comedians if you think this is a joke. Another post about the trader levels, right? Again, that's a major issue. Trader levels take too long. Game size crashing, again, huge issue. Here we go, killing the collector. This game promised to be the VR Tarkov equivalent. Not entirely, but not completely. But the collector, I should not have to put 4.5 mags to... I should not have to put 4.5 mags through a rifle in his head to kill him. That is BS. I expect when one bullet goes through his brain, he should die instantly. Like, what is this? I should not have to put this many bullets into a person's skull for them to die. For them to die, this is... Can you people English? This is unacceptable. Meanwhile, Tarkov sneak one bullet into boss's helmet, no matter what bullet it is, dies instantly. Like, what the hell is this? Which, yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. And then get this, okay? You would think that bosses would have the same HP as a player, but they just have the beefed up gear and they have the bodyguards, right? No. See, you are a proper dumbass if you think the bosses have the same health as players. I think players have 100 health. Bosses have, I think, 720 health. So think of it this way. In terms of the HP pool, when you are fighting a boss, you are fighting a 1v7. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. I don't know who thought this was a good idea. But they're wrong. They are simply wrong. Here we go. Recoil changes needed. I'm gonna just go on my own tangent here. Again, I'm going back on my point of you guys claim that you're ex-military. A lot of you claim to be ex-military at Combat Waffle Studios. Let me ask you this. If you guys are ex-military, why do half the guns kick as hard as they do? Some of them make sense, some of them do not. Okay? Explain to me why 5.56 guns kick the way they do. I've shot 5.56 before. It does not kick like that. I have a 9mm pistol carbine actually in here, in this room, right? It's pretty cool. But I have a 9mm pistol carbine. It doesn't kick like that. You mean to tell me that submachine guns kick that much? You mean to tell me that just some regular ass assault rifles kick that much? No. Not at all. Not at all. And then the suppressor thing, movie magic quiet, again, you guys are ex-military, you should know better. Which really puts into question what you guys actually claim. Let's see here. You know what, let's talk about the Discord real quick. So there's one moderator in particular in the Discord server who likes to abuse their power over people. So I asked a simple question of why do open bolt submachine guns, or really open bolt guns in general, not fire with an open bolt when you bring them into raid? So for those of you who don't know, an open bolt firearm fires when the bolt is open, hence why it's called an open bolt firearm. Problem: when you ready your gun in your bunker while loading into a raid, you load into the raid, your bolt is closed, so you rack it again to open the bolt, and it doesn't shoot. It will not shoot with the bolt open. I have died multiple times expecting realism from a game that was marketed as realistic. I asked the very simple question of why do open bolt guns not fire half the time when the bolt is opened? The moderator, after some back and forth with someone else, a moderator, this particular one that I talked about, called me a prick. And then when I called them a fat piece of shit in response, because I matched the energy, they mute me for an hour. And because this person's been a moderator for months now, they're not getting punished for what they do. This is the official Discord server, and I advise all of you to stay off of the Discord server. I recommend all y'all to stay off the subreddit too, but if you're gonna pick between the subreddit and Discord, subreddit all the way. A little tangent out of the way there. Let's see here. 2 more posts about a cheater. Someone else complaining about nakeds. Well, again, this game doesn't work properly. How are you going to complain about nakeds when there's no point in running gear? So, you know, the community, obviously, there are lots of people who call it out, and there are lots of people who bootleg Combat Waffle Studios. My thing is, I am neither a hater nor a bootlegger. I am just someone who can look at both sides of the argument and come up with my own conclusion. And my conclusion is that Combat Waffle Studios is lazy and they refuse to put actual effort into their product, and that's what's making them fail. They are failing to their own accord, and that's just simply it. That's the end of it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, please like, subscribe, share this out, because I had to crawl around on Reddit to find this stuff. So please, any support is appreciated. And until next time, take care.